Hi, it's Trouble and Jack, and welcome back to another episode of my Jupiter 2 build. In front of me, I have the center console, which is probably the most difficult part of this build. We're going to talk about that. But first, if you would like to see more content like this, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Okay, the center console here is consists of the kit part, some photo etched pieces from Paragraphics, also their decals I'm going to be using, and this little plastic piece which has the radar screens and the little center screen. So I'm going to be motorizing everything. We'll see how that goes. And one of the first challenges is these photo etch parts here on the edges sit a little bit too deep. The center screen's okay, but the edge piece, it's a little bit too deep. So what I had to do was laser cut some plastic parts to fit in there. So I have this one, and I cut a little hole in the center so the motorized piece will kind of sit in there. Then I have a clear piece on top of that, and then the photo etch piece will go on top of everything else. And you could see now it sits fairly flat, and it looks really good. The same thing I did on this side. So should be really nice once this is done. I have to paint everything. I'm also going to be running fiber optics to these screens and some other details here. So yeah, we'll continue on with this build. Okay, here I have some more progress on the flight deck. I painted the top screens with some Tamiya fine gray primer. I extended the back out a little bit so I can fit the carbon fiber strands through there, and you can see the covers just fit on there perfectly. So that's really nice. I'm going to be I painted the photo etch piece that goes in front with some Tamiya fine white primer, and I'm going to be painting the black. I'm going to mask that off and paint the black next. So that should look really nice. Now coming over to the center console here, I went ahead and painted that with some fine gray primer, and I also added the clear color so you'll be able to see the lights when the light shines through. I don't know if you can see that in the video, but when I light this up, you'll be able to see perfectly. Actually, let me turn my light down. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, it really gives a cool effect. So I have all those little tiny holes painted with the clear Tamiya paint. And what I did was, a good way to paint them was I took the real fine brush and just stuck it in the hole. It came out, and I didn't get much bleed through with the paint, which worked out really good. Now the decals go over the photo etch piece here, so I didn't paint that, and the center piece and the end piece. Now basically I matched the colors up. There's little tiny, you can see the colors from the holes on the decals. So they are matched up with the holes that are painted on the photo etch. So next I'm going to paint, these come off of here, we'll be painting the center console. I'm going to paint that with the Vallejo green. I'm going to paint the backside some flat black, and we'll take a look at that in the next step. Okay, here I made some good progress on the center console of the Jupiter 2. I painted the console with this Vallejo sky green, really nice paint, airbrush as well. I love the color, so that came out pretty good. Then I added the photo etched main screens there, and the center one is painted. Of course, we went through that, and little light effects will be shining through, so that's going to be so nice. I applied those screens with one of my favorite glues, UHU Creative. I use this for model airplane stuff. It's basically a contact cement, but you put a little bit on each part, a little bit on the inside there, and a little bit on the console. and just push them in. What's nice about it is you don't get any bleed through of the glue, so it looks really clean and it works well. So that's how I glued those in. I still have to add the decals. So there's a decal for the center screen and the two outer screens and that little panel right there. I'll be doing that. And then I wanted to light this up, so let's turn on the lights. And pretty cool, I am using these lights from a company called Light My Bricks. Now, these are designed for Lego sets. There's a couple companies out there that have these, but this company makes some really nice stuff, and they have little components that you can buy. Little light strip. It also operates on 4.5 volts, so it should interface well with the Moebius light system that I'm using. Let me turn this over. The way I did this was I have this plastic strip here that I cut, and that is mounted just behind the where the almost touches the edge of the screens there. Then I'm going to be using, I'm going to motorize every screen. Here is one of the little like 3-volt motors, and the motor just mounts in the little slot that I cut. So yeah, the motor goes in there, the lights are just attached. I have a little blender tape, and they'll be running through the back. Let's take a little look at the motors. I put some pigtails on here, and these are going to also interface nice with the system. So they're turning at about 15 revolutions per minute. Let me connect the main console. Alright, so there's the center console. It is a photo etch piece. I painted it black, but you can see they are turning at a really nice speed. You can get them at 15 revolutions per minute, 30 revolutions per minute. There's a couple of the ones. I just bought these off of Amazon. They're fairly cheap. But the 15 revolutions per minute is a nice speed, and they don't really, they're pretty quiet at this gearing. So not too bad. We're going to install these here and then take a look at how they look on the center console. Alright, here we have a look at the center console with the motors installed and operating. Yeah, I have the two radars going the same way, and I have the center just going the opposite way, just for counter-rotating, just for effect. There's the three motors, how I installed them. The CA plus a little hot glue to keep them in place. Covered them here, making a nice little light box. And I think it turned out fairly well. I have to throw the top screens yet, feed the fiber optics through, but I think it's coming along nicely, and I can't wait to see how it looks with the top screens installed. Okay, I'm working on the top screens for the center console of the Jupiter 2. I think it's coming out fairly nicely. I have fiber optics, 0.5 fiber optics running, a row of them on the bottom there. They fit perfectly in the holes. They're a little snug, which is perfect. I painted the tips of them with this with the Tamiya clear, yellow, blue, red. I think I have a few strands of white in there to alternate the colors. And then next I am feeding the 0.25 in each of the holes here. And as a little tip, I don't want to repeat everything. Models by Chris did a great job on his presentation on his screens. But what I had to do is I'm using a piece of tape in the front to hold these down, because the holes for the 0.25 are just a little bit larger, and they'll just fall right out. So this is holding them in place. So then what I'm doing is row by row, I am gluing them in with this canopy glue, Formula 560. I use this for my model airplanes. This is fantastic glue. Dries in about 3 hours, and it's flexible, and it works fantastic. I prefer it over Elmer's glue, but it's good stuff. You can find it on Amazon and several other places. I'd like to mention I have a 2 millimeter fiber optic that's going to go there, and I'm using a little piece of heat shrink, as Models by Chris did on his build. That was a great tip. Thanks, Models by Chris, if you watch this video. So yeah, I'm just trying to add things that that I've used for my build here that may help you. But we're going to continue. I'm going to feed the rest of the fiber optics through the screens and glue each layer. And when I'm done, we're going to take a look at how it looks on the center console of the Jupiter 2. Okay, here I have two of the screens completed and installed on the center console. This is the last one, and I just want to show you one more tip. So I have all the 0.25 and the 0.5 millimeter fiber optic run through the holes here. And what I did was each layer, I used this little vice grips to hold them in place with the glue, so my back cover will fit on. That worked really well. And also, you know, as I mentioned earlier, there's a little extension on here, so the back cover is actually extended out just a bit to fit everything. One thing I had to do a little differently on these screens. Initially, I was cutting the fiber optic row by row right down to the minimum here. And then as I used my vice grips, a couple of them fell through. Ended up having to go back and redo them. So on the other two screens, I left just enough sticking out so that wouldn't happen. Now the glue is dry. I can actually take the vice grips off. You can see how beautifully flush it is. I can easily fit my back cover. And now I'm going to trim the front of these, and the screen shall be done. They're facing upward just a bit. I'm just bending them down just a hair. But then we're going to feed them through the center screen, hook up the lights, and let's take a look at how it looks on the center, on the floor here, and we'll check it out. Okay, here I have the completed center console for my Moebius Jupiter 2 build. I have it temporarily mounted on the floor here. Let's turn the lights on and take a look at this. How cool is that? I'm really loving the effect here. I have all three the radar screens turning. I have the center screens blinking with a variable blink rate. I am doing that with a Light My Bricks multi-effects board. I'm actually using 3 of these. They're not that expensive. I think I paid about, I don't know, 12 bucks or so for these. And I can turn this little knob and I can decrease or increase the blink rate depending on what I'd like. So pretty happy with that. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at this center console. Okay, so there you have it. My completed center console for my Moebius Jupiter 2 build. I would like to thank everybody for watching this video. Hope you guys got something out of it. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.